现在就让我们掌声欢迎国立政治大学周行一校长为我们致辞，掌声欢迎。
Better stand here. All right, Professor Zheng and Art-ong, yes, and then Li Yang, Professor Xia, and the President Wang, and all the distinguished scholars from Taiwan and other countries, and also our students and faculty members. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm very happy to be here this morning to say a few words at the opening of the conference today and tomorrow. And as the president of National Change University, first of all, I would like to welcome you to National Change University. And if this is the first time you are on our campus, you probably already noticed that we have a very beautiful campus with both hills and rivers. I think that's the only one this kind of campus in Taiwan, in an urban area. NCCU is the top humanities and social science university in Taiwan. Of which education is a very important field. And we have a very distinguished college of education. And the graduates and alumni of college of education have been doing very well in Taiwan and globally. Many leaders in educational institutions in Taiwan are alumni, and also many policy makers of our national education policy are our alumni as well. So although our college education is not terribly big, but its influence in Taiwan has been very, very big. And also as the president of a university, I do understand that the intake of our students, which really means that the students we take from high schools, are very important to us in terms of their training and their academic background and the preparation for having a education in a university. And so it's very important that high schools and junior high school and primary schools prepare them for their college education. But sometimes we do feel that when students come to National Change University, they are not as prepared as we think they are. So I think it's very important for us to understand that primary school education or even high school educations are very important to them. And the world has changed so much that we must be innovative in terms of how we teach our students, so that they can keep up with the change in our society. And with traditional way of teaching our kids, I don't think we can achieve that goal anymore, simply because the world has changed so much. So I think we do need to do something in order to change the status quo, so that our students are educated in a very different way. In order to do that, experimentations are very important. We do have to be willing to experiment new ways of educating our kids. For that reason, I think that's the reason why Professor Zheng, with the support of our government, has been doing this for years. He has had many programs in many parts of Taiwan, particularly in rural and remote areas of Taiwan, where he tried to do new experimentations on primary school educations. And I believe that he has had some good results to share with you today. And also I know that scholars from other countries also have experienced in your country's experimental education. I think that the conference today is a very good venue for all of you to share your experiences. And I believe that all of you will benefit from each other a great deal. And so I have a great conference, and I wish you all the success. And if this is the first time you come to Taiwan, you also probably should visit National Palace Museum. And if you like National Change University, come back again. I'll be happy to host you again. Well, have a good life. Thank you very much. Thank you.
谢谢周校长。今天非常开心，有这么多的贵宾共襄盛举。那么现在呢，就让我们一起来一张大合照。但是各位贵宾不用移驾到其他的座位上面，请您就维持在你的座位，然后看向我们的摄影师。这个镜头呢非常广角，所以坐在边边的贵宾们应该都可以被拍到。但是呢，请各位拿出您的笑容，然后看向我们的摄影师。 麻烦后面的投影机是不是可以暂时先关掉，不然会有点反光。请稍等一下。请大家看镜头。1、2、3，我们再一张哦。1、2、3。好，感谢各位贵宾。在这2天的国际研讨会当中呢，我们除了有4个场次的论文发表，同时也邀请了3位分别来自于泰国、中国大陆以及台湾的专家学者担任专题讲座的主讲人。接下来将进行第1场次的专题讲座，让我们掌声欢迎主持人国立台中教育大学王如哲校长，掌声欢迎。
Good morning. President Zhou, he just left, but I still need to mention President Zhou because I respect him very much. And Professor Zheng, he is a pioneer in alternative education. Well, in Taiwan, perhaps we use the experimental education, but in the world, I think alternative education widely used in experimental education. And distinguished keynote speakers and the guests, and all the participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the first session of this wonderful conference. And I'm so pleased to be here. So thank you very much for inviting me. So I got this great opportunity to be here, and my duty is to introduce the first keynote speakers. But before I introduce the first keynote speaker, I will say a few words. I think in Taiwan, actually experiment education has been developed for more than 20 years. And I just mentioned Professor Zheng and a number of professors in different university. They have done quite a lot of jobs for Taiwan. The first keynote speakers from Thailand, although we just first met this morning, and we've been talking quite a lot about alternative educational experimental education in Thailand. We found not just in Taiwan, in Thailand, or in the Asian country, actually, now we pay more attention to the experimental education. So that's why I say today the conference is a wonderful conference. And now my duty is to introduce the first keynote speaker. He came from the Thailand, as I just mentioned, and sometimes it's much more difficult to pronounce correctly. I try to do it in the right way. Dr. Jumsai, right? Dr. Jumsai. Jumsai, okay. Okay. Dr. Jumsai, I think it's not just the executive director for his school. Actually, he has done quite a lot of jobs for this country and also in the world. Because this morning, as I just mentioned, we first met, but I learned the quality from him. In Thailand, not just his school, now actually it's a model school for the Thailand. also for the outside of Thailand as well. And in his school, he provided the training program for the in-service teachers from all over the world. I think he has done a great contribution to his country and to the experimental education in Thailand and in other countries as well. If I occupy too much time to introduce him, I will become the keynote speaker. While we are here, I think we are waiting to the excellent speech he is going to make. Perhaps I think his speech will last more than 1 hour. Yeah, from now on to 10:30. But if he can give us perhaps a couple of minutes for the participant to ask the questions, I'm sure he would be pleased to answer the question you may ask. So I'm going to start my talk and welcome the first keynote speaker, Professor Jumsai.
Respected educators, I'm very happy to be here again. Actually, I've been to this country many times. For the last 20, 30 years, I've been coming here and I've been giving talks and training for teachers. So, and some of you have gone to my school and visited the school in Thailand as well. We have this school so that we can train teachers from all over the world. It's not just made for Thailand, but for all the countries, because we want to change the world. We want peace. We want a lot of love. We want people to be happy in the world, not fighting each other, not having problems with each other, but we want everybody to work together. So this is the aim of this talk, that we will teach people to be good people, not clever people. Don't worry, when you are good, you become clever. Okay? So when we teach children in our school in Thailand, we teach them to be good people. So that's why we talk about human values in education. We need to teach human values. So I'll start my talk by giving examples. We have a young graduate. He's just graduated from university, got a degree, but he lives in the countryside. So when he got his degree, he decided to go back and pay respect to the parents. Then there's no road to the village, so he had to hire a boatman. And as he was traveling in the boat, the young graduate was very bored because the boat was very slow, it took a long time. So he was in the boat and he decided to have a conversation with the boatman. So he said, "My dear man, what do you think about our world? How are we going to have peace in the world?" So the boatman said, "Sorry sir, I know nothing." The young graduate was very disappointed. "You don't know anything about our world. 25% of your life has been wasted." So another moment of silence. when the boatman kept quiet and the young graduate was very bored with nothing to do, so he decided to ask more questions. My dear man, what do you think about our government? Are they doing a good job to help our country? The boatman said, I know nothing, sir. So the young graduate was very bored and nothing to do, and so he decided to ask more questions. My dear man, what do you think about our village? I live in this village, and what do you think? What do we have to do to improve our village? So the boatman said, sorry sir, I know nothing. So the young graduate was very disappointed. You don't know anything. 75% of your life has been wasted. And suddenly the weather changed, and then started to have clouds and very strong wind, and the boat was rocking, there was waves, water started to come into the boat. Finally the boatman said, sir, can you swim? The young graduate said, I can't swim, help me, help me, help me. So the boatman said, in that case, 100% of your life is going to be wasted. So this is the problem with our education around the world. We are teaching people to be clever. And when they're clever, they don't really know how to find peace within themselves. And so a lot of people have a lot of problems in the world. They are very clever, yes, but finally they have a lot of problems in their life. So what we need to do is to train people to know how to live together in the world. Not just knowing about what they need to teach, not about a lot of things that they are taught in universities, but they need to teach about life, how to live in the world together so that we can live in peace. So let us see how we can find peace. We say, I want peace. We all want peace. Everybody say, we all want peace. But how do we find peace? A lot of people are very stressed in the world today. There's a lot of problems in the world. We don't find peace. So we've got to find the solution to find peace. Well, the answer is right there. In the words, I want peace. Don't worry about the lady there or the rose. Look at the words that we are saying, I want peace. If you only want peace and nothing else but peace, well, there are three words. I want peace. And you only want peace, nothing else. Very simple. All you need to do is get rid of the I. Get rid of the want. Then you will find peace. I is our ego. When people say bad things at us, I get angry, I get upset. But what is he doing to us? He's only saying certain things, but we are unhappy, we don't like it. Be a scientist, okay? We're going to be a scientist today. We're going to think carefully in a scientific way. When people swear at us, saying bad things at us, what are they doing to us? There's only sound, vibration coming into our ears. It's vibration of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide vibrating into our ears. Is it the carbon dioxide that's creating unhappiness for us? No, It's always around us. Is it the oxygen? No, nothing is to do with that. So it's not the air that vibrates in our ears. It's not hurting us in any way. We all have this oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide all around us. So it's not the vibration of air that is hurting us, but it is because of the I. You are swearing at me, you are saying bad things at me, I get angry. Okay? So if we get rid of the I, then we don't need to be angry with anybody. They have not hurt us in any way. It's only vibration of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide coming into our ears. So this is what we got to teach everyone. Don't get angry when people say bad things, because it's only vibration of air. But it's only because of the I. He's swearing at me. I get angry. You see? So get rid of that I. And when people swear at us, they're unhappy, right? They're swearing at us. It means that they are unhappy. So feel sorry for them. We got to help them to find peace, okay? And not be angry. So get rid of that I, and you can find a lot of peace, because people swear at you, it's only vibration of air. The second word that we got to get rid of is the want. In the world today, we measure the progress of every country with GNP, gross national product. What does that mean? It means we have to produce a lot of products. And when you produce a lot of products, you've got to sell the products. And when you sell the products, you've got to create desires. Everybody must want your products. So we advertise, we get everybody to have a lot of desires, a lot of wants, and the more want, the more money they get. You see, they feel that that's the way to create peace, but it's not. People have a lot of desires, and they have a lot of problems because they're not getting what they want all the time. So they feel very unhappy, because we measure the progress of everyone of the whole world with GNP, with products. Why measure the progress of a human being with products? You've got to learn to raise the consciousness higher, not creating a lot of wants, a lot of desires. Get rid of that want. When you get rid of I, people swear at you, they're not doing anything to you, you feel sorry for that person and not be angry with them. Okay? So you get rid of that I, you get rid of the desire, the want, and you find a lot of peace in the world. That is the secret for all of us, to find peace. Okay? So I just like to talk about this. We have not got copies of this, right? I'm sorry, I should have given it to you. So this is an important part, and I want everybody to have a copy. Okay? So can somebody come and put it out? Yeah, yes, I did prepare a little bit. So we got to understand the learning process. How we learn. We are dealing with education, all of us, we are dealing with education. But we got to understand how we learn. Otherwise, we just teach, they have to remember everything that we teach, and we think, oh, then they can pass the examination, and we think, oh, that's wonderful. But no, a lot of people, when they have a lot of knowledge, they'll use that knowledge in a negative way. Then we have a lot of problems. So we got to understand ourselves. We are all learners. All of us, we have to learn. We come to this world in order to learn. Okay? So what is it that we're going to learn? What is it that we need to do? So let us understand the learning process. Okay? We are all learners. I'm also a learner. I learn and learn and learn. I learn from the children. I start up a school and I observe the children. I learn from them what they think, what they do, and how to help them and so on. But we have to learn from the children. We teach students. We got to understand the students. They also help us to understand people, understand everybody. So, first of all, remember that we are all learners. As long as you live in this world, you are a learner. I'm a learner. I learn from everybody that I meet. I talk to them, I learn a little bit from everybody. I learn from the surrounding. I learn from the space, everything I learn all the time. And I'm still a learner. Okay? So, how do we learn? We got to understand the learning process. Now, many countries said, well, we got to use the brain. Okay, we use brain-based learning. So you got to improve your brain. You got to develop the brain. But you know, when you are born, the brain develops itself very quickly, and by the time you get into kindergarten, it's already too late, because the brain cells have all developed. When you're 20, some of the brain cells start to die. And when you are my age, already about 100,000 cells, 100,000 million cells have died, okay, from my brain. Because I'm very old, I'm already 70, this year I'll be 78, okay, so it's the brain cells keep on dying and dying and dying, and one day I will die. When I die, all the brain cells will be dead. So why develop the brain when it's always dying away, and gradually disappearing? Okay, so we should not use brain-based learning, because we develop the brain already when you are 2 years old. All the brain cells have already developed. After that, it will start to die. Okay, so there's no point developing the brain. But we should use our mind. The consciousness is what we need to develop. So here I start with the conscious mind. This is where we understand everything. It's our conscious mind that we receive information, we are aware of it, we understand what it is using our conscious mind. But the process for learning, you've got to understand right from the beginning, where we start to receive outside stimuli. You are now listening to me, for example. Okay, so you have to use your ears to listen. You have to use the 5 senses to receive information from outside. So the 5 senses are very important. Okay, your eyes, we see, you look at the picture, Your ears, you're listening to me now, you're using the 5 senses all the time. And when we receive information, automatically you have to store that information. That information is kept in the subconscious mind. Okay? This mind we are not aware of because it's subconscious. We are only aware of the conscious mind on this side. Okay, this is where you are aware of. But the subconscious, you are not aware. But automatically we save information and we keep it there. And we never forget. The subconscious never forgets. Information is not lost. It's always in the subconscious. But we are not aware of it, because to be aware, you have to bring out information from the subconscious to the conscious mind. Then you become aware. So that process has to be understood. How we bring out information from the subconscious to the conscious. Otherwise, we don't remember anything. We forget everything. Okay? So the learning process has to be understood. Now, let's look at our 5 senses. Okay? We use our eyes to see. We see something. What is it that is entering the eyes? It's light. Light comes into our eyes. That's the way we can see. Okay? So let's look at light. Light, now we are going to be scientists. Okay? Light is a form of electromagnetic energy. Here is the light consisting of electrical field. At right angles to it is the magnetic field. That is the electromagnetic energy that comes into our eyes. Okay? And then when we look at something, we say, that's bad. How can you see something bad? It's electric field coming into your eyes. And a magnetic field edge coming into our ears. Okay? We listen, we see things. It's all electromagnetic energy. Light is what we see. Okay? So when we listen to things, it's vibration of air, okay, that comes into our ears, consisting of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, coming into our ears. So we got to understand ourselves. What is it that makes us angry? Is it the oxygen? Or is it the nitrogen that's vibrating? Or carbon dioxide? No. They don't create anger for us. They don't hurt us. Okay? So we got to understand that we all need to interpret information. That's where we go wrong. That's where we start to be angry, upset, and so on, when really nothing upsets us. Light does not create any problem for us. Sound is only vibration of air, it's not creating any problem. But we get angry with that person and that person, we get angry with people. Okay, when they're swearing at us, we get upset. But really, it's only vibration of air. Okay? So everything depends on how we interpret information. We bring out information from the 5 senses to interpret that. Okay, before we become aware, the awareness takes place in the conscious mind. So before that happens, we got to interpret everything. So we interpret by bringing out information that we have stored in our subconscious mind. Subconscious mind contains everything in the past that we have put in there, past experiences, what we have seen, what we have heard, everything is stored in there. Okay? So we bring out information from there to interpret everything that we see, what we hear, and so on. And when we have something similar, then we say, I understand. You bring that information to the conscious mind. And that is a big problem for us. Why? Because we put in a lot of negativity in our subconscious mind. We look at television play, okay? You have somebody fighting with another person and so on. They're angry with each other, they fight and they quarrel and so on. There's always a lot of problems in the world. We look at news, on television, there's war here, throwing bombs here and so on. All this is put into our subconscious. Then one day we bring that out to interpret information, then we are aware of it. But what we are aware is based on how we interpret the information. What we have put in here, in the subconscious, okay? So if we get children to watch movies and television and so on, and you see people fighting and killing each other, so all that information goes into the subconscious, then they start to become angry with people, unhappy with other people, because they interpret everything by bringing all that information that we have put in here, and we interpret that. So this is a big problem in our world today. So you see, in the United States, children kill each other. We have in schools where children take guns and they start firing at other people. Even in university, one day a man in the university came with a gun and shooting at everybody. This happens in many countries. Things are happening like that, where we use a lot of violence. Why? Because we give a lot of violence to everybody by watching television, watching news, and watching everything. We put everything, we read books full of violence, and then all that is put into the subconscious mind of the children. Then they start to make use of that in a negative way. Okay? So whatever we understand depends on what we have put in our subconscious mind, because we use that to interpret information, so we are aware in a negative way. So education is the most important thing that we can do to help the world. We've got to integrate, we've got to teach positive thinking so that the subconscious is full of positive thinking, and that will start to interpret information. If you teach, about wars, about fighting, about history in the past that's full of fighting, then of course children will keep all that in the subconscious mind. That's why there's a lot of violence amongst children in many countries in the world. So we've got to understand that. So when that happens, we now got to train everybody to think in a positive way. Think good, speak good, do good all the time. When you think positively, you put that information back into the subconscious. So it's a reinforcement. When you get children to think good things, they will bring that information, store in the subconscious, then one day they'll bring it out and interpret it in a positive way. So as teachers, as educators, get children to think positively all the time. Okay? So when you talk about the conscious feeling, you've got to think about human values. Always put human values. When you teach, okay, people, information coming in, get them to think positively Put in human values, love, peace, and so on. Put it in the information that we teach. So as teachers, you are the most important people to change the world. Nobody is as important as teachers, lecturers, and training of young people. This is the most important job. So I used to be a politician, I used to be a member of parliament, member of the House of Senate in Thailand. I used to go to the United States. I helped them to build the landing equipment for the Viking spacecraft that landed on Mars for the first time. I did all these things, but then what am I doing? You've got to think about how to change people so that we can live together in peace. So we've got to start putting in positive values so that it will be stored in the subconscious. Then the children will automatically draw that and interpret that in a positive way. So in this case, they will put in, we get them to think positively, a lot of human values, always think about peace, love, and so on. Then they will store all that in the subconscious, and we can start to change people. Okay, but this is, you people, you are the most important people in the world, because you are going to be training other people, you're going to be teaching other people, you're going to help people to change. Educators are the most important people because we are going to give education for the children. We are going to help train teachers so that we can train, so that they can teach the children. So they've got to understand what we teach all the time. But you know, the world doesn't help us. Children look at television, they see fighting and killing and so on. So the world is trying to create a lot of problems in the world. We put in negative feeling into the children. And so we have problems because they started to think in a negative way. Okay? So for example, a school in the United States, 2 children went into the school and they started shooting at everybody. 12 children were killed. 2 teachers were killed. This actually happened in the United States. Why did they do that? Because they love playing games. The children keep on playing games. They press a button and they shoot. Press a button and they shoot. But they don't play just like that. You've got to score a lot of marks. You've got to score high in your game. So you've got to play games like this. Shoot! You've got to press and press and shoot. And all this is put in the mind of the children. One day, the 2 children who were playing games like that, they went into the school, they said, let's play this game. So they brought guns and they started shooting at everybody. This actually happened. Okay? So it's very dangerous to get the children to see movies like this. Very dangerous. It puts the idea of killing in the subconscious mind of the child, and they're not aware of it. The subconscious suddenly comes up, and then you start to have a lot of problems. So from now on, all teachers got to put in positive thinking in the mind of the children. Whatever you teach values. Okay, always teach a lot of values into the minds of the children. Okay, so here, for example, we're going to teach mathematics. 32 divided by 8, what does it equal to? Well, teachers should think, how are we going to help the children to become good children. Always think of ways to change the world, change the children. When we change the children, we're changing the future of the world. Okay, so you are the most important people to train teachers, to train everybody to become people who will change the world in the future. So when you teach mathematics, okay, you can make up a problem, okay? The mother loved her child very much. One day she took the child to the shop, and the mother loves the child, so she bought bananas, 32 bananas for the child. The child loved bananas, so the child embraced the mother. Oh, thank you, mother, you're so kind. They went back home, and there were 7 friends who came to visit the child. So the child decided to share the 32 bananas with her friends and herself. So 7 friends and herself, that makes 8 people. So how many bananas should she give to each person? 32 divided by 8. And you know, we have taught the values. Oh, the mother loves the child. Oh, I got all the bananas, so I'm going to learn to share with everybody. My friends came, 7 of them, so I'm going to share with everybody. So we share by dividing 32 bananas with the 8 people, and that gives the answer. So that's how we should teach mathematics. Teaching them to learn to share, to give, to help people, and so on. Okay, don't just teach mathematics, get them to recite multiplication tables and so on, that's all it is. No, we've got to teach values into every subject. Otherwise, there's no way we can change the world. All of you, we've got to teach values using the subject that we are teaching, okay? So when we talk about North Pole Star, okay, we talk about in the old days, ships look at the North Pole Star and they know their direction. Okay, so this is very important. Teachers have to show the directions for the children. Where to go, what to do, and so on. Which direction they should go. Okay, when we play football, for example, we got to teach values, everything, put in values, okay? So we have a meeting with the children, okay? And we say, if you have the ball, okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to kick into the goal all by yourself? Are you going to win the game all by yourself? The children will say, no, you cannot win by yourself. Then how do you play? You got to play as a team. Then how do you play as a team? Well, we've got to learn to share the ball with people in our own team. We pass this ball to another person in the team, and he will pass it to another person in the team. If we are united, if we work together, we can win the game. So I then we should ask the question to the children, how about our life? How should we live? So the children, having talked about football game, they say, well, it's like the football game. Whatever we have, we've got to learn to share one another. We give to other people, that person will share with other people, just like a football game. We've got to have unity, we've got to work together, we've got to help each other. So get the children to think in a positive way, using whatever they are involved in, okay, they have football game, okay, use the football game to teach. Here we're going to teach about water, okay, we teach 2H2 plus O2 equals 2H2O. So when you say, I love myself, what do you love? Teach the children to think, ask questions. Well, we have 70% water in our body. So if we love myself, you got to love water. Okay? That's very important. Everybody, we got to love water because 70% of our body is water. So if you love yourself, if you love water, can you hate anyone? If you love water, you can never hate anybody because everybody is 70% water. So we've got to love everybody. Okay? So we teach the children to think about this, and so we have to love animals. Don't kill animals. Don't hurt them. Okay? Oh, you love fruit and vegetables because they have a lot of water and they want us to eat. Okay? So here, pineapple on the right here has 80% water, more water than in our body. So we've got to love fruit, we've got to love vegetables that we eat. And we've got to love the world. 70% of the surface of our world is water. So we've got to love our world. So we can teach all this to the children, get them to think. So here, the children, they love water, we get them to swim. Okay, they all love water and they have to love nature. Nature has a lot of water. Okay, so in my school, we get them to grow vegetables, grow rice, and they have to love water. They go into the water to plant rice. Okay, so all the time we teach children to think in a positive way. Okay, and they become wonderful children. Some of you have already gone to our school, and you see, oh, how wonderful. The children, they don't fight, they don't quarrel, they help each other, and they're all full of goodness in their life, okay? And they all get entrance into universities. 100% from my school, they all get into universities. So when you are good, you become clever as well, okay? Don't just get them to pass examinations, don't teach about values. No, we as a person, we've got to be a good person. Teach values in everything. And then, this is the most important part, okay? You've got to learn to teach everybody to raise their consciousness higher. You know, people in the world, we don't know who we are, why we are here, where are we going. We don't understand ourselves. We don't know who we are. So this is something that has to be taught. Children must understand who we are, why are we here, where are we going. Otherwise, they don't know where to go, which way to go, and so on. And there's a lot of problems in the world because we don't teach them what to do, where to go. So we all got to raise our consciousness higher. Then you have reached the super conscious mind. We all have that super conscious mind where intuition takes place, where you have the conscience, where it teaches you. It will tell you, okay, it will bring information into the conscious mind, so you start to feel that who you are, why are we here, where are we going, all these questions is not answered in the world, okay? We've got to find the information that will help us, and so we have to raise the consciousness higher. Then you start to get intuition, knowledge, understanding. Here, children in my school, every morning, okay, at 6 o'clock in the morning, they're all in the prayer room, they all pray and they all sit, learn to practice meditation. We get them to learn to quiet their mind, train themselves so that they'll become good children all the time. Here you can see how we start the day, every day, with silent sitting, with meditation, with peace and so on. This girl, you see here, she graduated from our school, and she took examination to go to university. And to everybody's surprise, amongst all the schools, she was top, with the highest marks, get into university. And she studied at a very good university. She comes from a very poor family. Father is a taxi driver, then the father was ill, could not drive, so they didn't have any money at all. But she won some help from the university. They gave free education for her because she got very high marks. So she studied free, no money is required. Then she graduated with first-class honors in bachelor's degree. And she went out into the world. And she started working, and then she's helped the father, helped the mother, helped the younger sisters and brother to go and have education and so on. And she became the important person in that family, and she has very high salary. She's doing very well in the outside world, in various companies and so on. So that's how we train our children, to be good children above all. And when they're good, they're also clever. Okay, but if you teach people to be clever, they may not be good. Okay? Start with goodness first. Then they will become very good children. So here, before we do any activities, we get the children to sit quietly, calm the mind down, so they learn to control their own thoughts, okay? They've got to control their mind all the time. So every day, our children practice meditation again and again and again, all the time. And here you can see the effect of silent sitting on memory. How much time do I have? I stop at what time? Sorry. It's
30 minutes left.
Oh, I see. So 10:30 I stop. Okay, thank you very much. So I still have time to talk. So and we'll have some questions at the end, okay? So let's look at the effect of silent sitting on memory. Our children, they sit every morning. It's a boarding school, so they're there in the morning. They sit in meditation. Before they go to bed, they pray and they sit silently in meditation. Okay? And every hour, when we start a new class, we get the children to sit quietly, calm the mind down. Then they can study very well. They have no problem. They have very good memory. So here, at the University of California, Berkeley, Professor Abrams did this experiment. He measured the ability to remember, okay? So the first group has never practiced any meditation, and this is a good university, one of the top universities in the United States, and the result is that they have about 40% memory. They are able to remember about 40%. When you teach something, they remember 40%. But the second group, Abrams taught them to learn to control their mind. Okay, silent sitting or meditation. And when they test the second group, the memory content was 60%. From failure, now it's a pass, okay? And they continue to train the group for 2 years, and then they test the memory, power of memory, and it was 70%. The more you practice silent sitting or meditation, the better your memory, okay? So that's why the children in our school in Thailand, they achieved a lot of success. They get into the university, they become, now it's, we started this school 26 years ago, so many of them are now working, and they have very high positions. They're they are wanted very much by the industries. You know, when the industries will write to us, say, please send some children to their company and so on. They all want children like that. Okay, so here you see the effect of meditation in education. You know, I was studying in the United Kingdom, in England, from the time when I was only 11 years old. I went to England. I grew up in England. Okay? I was a very bad boy, very naughty boy. I used to fight everybody, and I used Thai kickboxing with the English boys. Well, English boys couldn't fight me because I used to kick, I used to use my elbows and everything, you see. So they could not fight me until finally at the school they said, you go onto the boxing ring and you cannot use Thai kickboxing. You've got to use the Western ways of fighting, okay? So I was forced to fight. I was very scared in the first day that I went on to do the boxing. But the English boy who came up on the ring, he knows that when we get out of the ring, he'll be kicked. Okay, so they're scared of me. They don't want to fight me, so I became boxing champion in the ring as well. Okay, and I became a very bad boy. I was bottom of my class in England. Then at the age of 15, when I was 15 years old, I thought, how could I get into university? How could I do what my parents want me to do, to be successful in education? So I thought to myself, I better change myself. So I looked at Thailand, what we do there. Okay, we learn to train our mind, we learn to practice meditation. So I decided to practice meditation. Just breathe in, breathe out, and watch your breath, okay, knowing there's air going in, air is going out. Okay, so you just watch that. So you calm your mind, okay, and then when I calmed my mind, my memory improved, and from bottom of the class, at the age of 16, I was top of the class. Everybody was shocked. The whole school, they were shocked. This is a bad boy, he's always fighting and playing and so on. But now he's top of the class. They're all very surprised. And I took examination and I was able to go to Trinity College, Cambridge, study there. I studied for 2 years only, and my professor said, you know everything, so I don't have to study anymore. I was given a bachelor's degree and they gave me a master's degree as well. So the education went through very fast. And then I decided to do my PhD at Imperial College of Science and Technology in London University. So I was thinking one day, what thesis, what subject should I write? So I was sitting all alone by myself in the university, and suddenly this picture came into my mind. It flashed, just came. So I understood everything. It's a microwave amplifier that nobody has built before. It's something new. So I built it and it worked. It was a good amplifier, so I wrote a big thesis for my PhD. And I got my PhD very easily, okay, no problem. They brought the top professors in the country to be my examiner, and normally they would ask a lot of questions. But when I presented this to everyone, they all kept quiet, and they all said, pass, pass, pass. All 5 of them, okay, who were invited to do this examination. And so I was given my PhD from the Imperial College of Science and Technology, London University. And I came back, okay, and became teacher. I taught, I was a professor at university in Thailand for some time. Okay, so you look at great scientists in the world. You know this man? What's his name? Who is this? Isaac Newton, yes, Isaac Newton. He's a great scientist, okay? And he studied in the same place that I studied. I was at Trinity College, Cambridge. He was also at Trinity College, Cambridge, but he was 300 years before me, okay? Different time. Anyway, he used to sit underneath an apple tree. He would not study like other people. He would go and sit in the apple tree. At Trinity College, they grew a lot of apple trees everywhere in memory of this great scientist. Okay? He used to sit there and he did not study hard. But one day, an apple fell down. Suddenly, he said, "Oh, I understand. The law of gravity, law of motion and everything else." He became a great scientist in the world. Okay? So he was at Trinity College. So when I was at Trinity College, I used to go and sit underneath an apple tree and I waited. No apples fell down on me, you see. So I did not learn like he did. Anyway, he's a great scientist. And you look at Albert Einstein, a great scientist of the last century, okay? Well, he is a Jew. And he was in Germany. And Hitler came and started to kill all the Jews. He managed to escape, went to the United States. He was not a good student. He was not top of the class. He was not a scientist at that time. But one day he became the greatest scientist in the world. Okay? UNESCO gave an award to Albert Einstein as the great scientist, and here this is what they said. He said, okay, Albert Einstein said, he got intuition. Suddenly he gets knowledge. And he said intuition is not the result from deliberate intention or program, but comes directly from the heart. So when he was a student, he did not study well. He had to escape from Hitler and went to the United States. But one day he was sitting all alone and suddenly he got intuition. He starts to understand everything. He became the greatest scientist. UNESCO announced he was the greatest scientist in the last century. Okay? Well, this is Mars. Okay? I helped to build this spacecraft. What I built was a small piece here. It's just here. You can see it. This is what I built. And it was put there in order to help in the automatic landing process of the spacecraft. Up to that time, nobody has been able to land spacecraft onto Mars. I was there. I was actually professor at the university in Thailand, but then I decided to go to United States just to get some experience and come back and teach everyone. So I helped to build this, and that helped in the descent. Just the time when it was descending, okay. So here I was working in the United States on this project, and it was a secret. You know, they would not allow anybody to come in and have a look at what I'm doing. So I did this for 1 year. It did not work. So I thought to myself, I'm doing incorrectly. This is not the way to find information that nobody has known before. So I went on top of the mountain in California. That was summertime, so it was hot and warm on top of the mountain. And I sat in meditation. I calmed my mind. I was all alone. I took this picture myself. I got the camera, I pressed the button, and sat down. Okay, so there's nobody taking the photograph for me. So I was all alone on top of the mountain. Then I sat in meditation for 5 days. On the 5th day, suddenly I knew the answer. Oh, I know what to do. Okay, so I ran back. I didn't run, it's so far away. I had a car that they gave me a car to use all the time, and I built it for them. And then I returned back to Thailand. At first they don't want me to return. They said they'll give me US citizenship immediately. I said, sorry, I love Thailand, I want to be a Thai, not an American. I came here to learn and I'll go back and teach in Thailand. So they said, oh, we'll increase your salary 20 times. Okay? One salary at that time that I received, I could buy an American car. So I told them, I don't know what to do with 20 cars per month. Thank you very much. So I returned to Thailand. They could not hold on to me. And then one day they sent up the spacecraft to Mars. It took 11 months to get to Mars. It's a very long journey. And at that time, they were not so good rockets. Anyway, it got to Mars, and then they waited and waited and waited. They would not send the spacecraft down to Mars. They waited for the 4th of July, 1976. Why? 4th of July is the national day for United States, and they wait for the year 1976 because it's 200th anniversary of United States. Okay, so they waited for that day, and when that day came, they pressed a button, and the spacecraft was going around of Mars, and what I built was inside this part. Okay, they send that down. They need this to protect the spacecraft initially when it goes into the atmosphere of Mars. Okay, and finally it starts to control itself, and this time what I built was working. Okay, what I did was simply send a signal down, it comes back, and we know how far it is from the surface, and using that we control the rockets. Okay, so it's part of the landing equipment, but this is a drawing, not a real picture, because nobody went there to take a picture. Okay, so anyway, it landed. This is real picture from Viking number 1, and this Viking number 2. The spacecraft is called Viking, and what I built helped in the landing process that landed on Mars for the very first time in the history of mankind. Okay, so I better stop very soon. Okay, I won't continue to do that. So I just want to end that we all have a sixth sense, inspiration. Okay, and this is how we should teach children. Have a lot of love. When you have a lot of love, then everything you do is right conduct. Then when you raise the consciousness higher, you get peace, and you start to understand the truth. Because deep inside you have this super conscious mind already, so you can understand the truth all by yourself, and then you will never use violence in all of your actions. Okay, so I just want to end. Okay, so then you can ask some questions. Okay, that parents love their children, and we must use human values integrated instruction. When we teach, always integrate human values in everything you teach. So here, when you teach human values, okay, love, peace, right conduct, truth, and non-violence, you teach all that, then it goes into the subconscious, then it starts to come out, interpret everything using the 5 human values. Okay? At the same time, this is what we call education, while we teach through the 5 senses. You also can use inspiration. Get the children to practice meditation, raise their consciousness higher. We call that educare. Okay, so this is slightly different from education. We get the children to raise the consciousness higher. We call it educare, using a lot of love. So you've got to understand the spoken message is only 10%. Okay, but meta message, we don't understand it, but somehow children are changed using meta message. What we do is, the teacher is an example. We smile all the time to everybody. We never use violence with the children. We teach using meta message. Okay? It's not taught, but from the example of the teachers. Teachers are examples, okay? Then we can change the children. So I just like to end by giving the example. Here's a teacher. She comes along. She sees children naughty, climbing trees, in danger of falling down. So the teacher spoke very nicely. Dear children, please come down from the tree. But the children look at her face. Oh no, she's angry. They see the teacher holding the stick, waving the stick. We're going to be beaten. This is not spoken language. Okay, the spoken language seems to be very nice, but the children understood the message. They come down and they're scared. They hide behind the trees, and some of the boys, they run away. Okay, they're not ready to face the teacher. So as a teacher, we've got to love the children. Always fill everything with your love. So this is the last thing I'd like to leave with you. We must have the 3 H's in our education. The first H is our head. Whatever we think, don't put into practice immediately. Bring it to your heart. And when you bring it to your heart, you ask 2 questions. What comes into my mind? Is this good for me? If we say good for me, yes, then you ask the second question. Is it good for everybody? If it's good for me, it must be good for everybody as well. If it's good for everybody, then you bring that message and put it into practice with your hands. So this is the 3 H's which you must teach everybody. Whatever you think, don't put into practice. Bring it to your heart. Ask 2 questions. Is it good for me? If it's good for me, ask the second question. Is it good for everybody? If it's good for me, good for everybody, then bring it into practice. Okay, so this is the 3 H. All teachers should use these 3 H's. All right, we have a few minutes for questions. Okay, anybody want to ask any question, please? You can do so now.
Dr. Jumsai, thank you very much for the excellent speech you have just made. And Dr. Jumsai is very kind. We still have more than 5 minutes, so perhaps we can take 1 or 2 questions. So if you have any questions, please ask right now. Okay. Please.
Thank you for the very good speech. I get so many good ideas. I have 1 question. Because the education system is not only not a social history. Maybe we can learn from the many long ago the education system. Maybe how from the Roma education, Greece, and very long ago. How do you think about the modern education the system can learn some good idea from past history education and use in the modern education. Thank you.
Dr. Jumsai, perhaps we take one more question and then you answer the question. One more question. So no more. Okay, over there.
I have a little bit question about. I'm curious about how can we find a sixth sense inspiration. Is about use the religion or something alternative teaching to make the kid to know the sixth sense inspiration. That's my question.
Okay, so that just now is your turn. Please answer the question.
Well, let me talk about inspiration first. All of us have the greatness in ourselves, but we don't know it. We all have goodness, we all have knowledge, we all have wisdom, but it's hidden inside us. You know, in the Bible, for example, they said, all people are built on the example of God. So we are really gods, okay? We all have that ability. You know, in Buddhism, we train people to raise a consciousness higher so that they start to know everything themselves. Okay? And all religions, they teach us to become good citizens. And once we start to train ourselves, then you raise your consciousness higher, then you start to be in contact with the superconscious, then you start to know everything. Okay? What was your question? I've forgotten now. I'm getting old and I forget. Sorry, the two questions again, so I can answer.
Okay. Because the modern education system is not maybe we can see the Roman age education from the many long ago. I want to know the education system history. We can learn some good point to use in the modern education, maybe from culture or new.
Okay.
Yeah. We can. Thank you.
The most important thing in education is to understand oneself. Who are we? Why are we here? Where are we going? Many people, they don't know who they are. And if they don't know who they are, they don't know their ability, their consciousness, they don't understand that we are not ordinary people. We have greatness within ourselves. We have a lot of information within ourselves. We can become a knower, a person who knows everything. But we have to train our mind. We have to learn to teach ourselves to be quiet, peaceful, because only when you have a peaceful mind that you will start to understand everything. Right now, children watch television, they get a lot of ideas, a lot of information here and there. We think it's so important to push everything into the children's mind. But no, we got to get them all to wash their mind clean. When the mind is clean, it's quiet, peaceful, then you start to get the real knowledge. The deep knowledge comes from within. Only if you train your mind to be calm, that you start to get a lot of information from within yourself. But right now, the world teach us to watch television, to read a lot of books, to do this, do that, and so many things, and they forget to train the children to raise the consciousness higher, which is very important. Okay, so this is what we need to do. I've forgotten your other questions. Sorry.
So, are you satisfied about the answers? We are going to have an interval soon here. Perhaps you can discuss with Dr. Jumsai.
Thank you.
So, an excellent speech, very impressive. I still remember at the beginning of his speech, Dr. Jumsai mentioned about the fundamental value for the humankind, peace. And also given us a map, help us to know the learning process. And most importantly, he also shared some his personal experience through the NASA in the United States, and talking about his important work for the NASA. So he is not just an educationalist, also a scientist. And we have learned so much from you. And even he shared us his age. Age is a secret, especially for female. But he looks younger than his age, okay? Anyway, thank you very much for the excellent speech you have made for all of us. And I think the time is running out, so I got to bring this session into the end. So finally, let's give a big applause for the excellent speech, Dr.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And thank you everyone, thank you for your participation. Thank you very much.